Yo, what's going on? This is Kurt and I'm back for another video. The topic of my video today is spirituality is business, business is spirituality. Initiations, magical orders, seals, and saints. This video was inspired by somebody who left a comment on my last video, and I thought the comment was very interesting. It was a great comment. So I just want to make a quick video about that entire subject to make it clear what I was trying to say in the last video. But before I start, I just want to tell you guys that in 2 weeks from now, I'm having a workshop called The Blue Sun of Your Emotional Awareness Resides in the West, Psychic Self Defense. Again, listen to the words. The blue sun of your emotional awareness resides in the West, Psychic Self Defense. Uh, First come, first serve, April 13th, a workshop on how to defend yourself psychically. What is psychic self defense? A crystal is not psychic self defense. A pentagram is not psychic self defense. A dream catcher is not psychic self defense. A pendant is not psychic self defense. Those objects can serve and can be utilized if you want to defend yourself psychically, but if you don't have the context, the understanding, and the basic knowledge of what psychic self-defense actually is, if you don't understand how external energies anchor themselves, whether in the east, the west, the north, or the south, to your energies, you can never know how to defend yourself psychically. It's almost what I realize with people in psychic self-defense, it's almost like a person who's doing drugs and who's doing heavy drugs, where the drugs are never enough, so they always have to up the dose, up the dosage, or a person who has a stimulation for something but it's not never enough, so they can never get the feeling that they had at first, so it's always more and more and more seals, more this, more, but it doesn't do anything at the end because you don't have the science, and the science is always simple. If anyone tells you anything, if anyone gives you any information but doesn't give you the basis of why and how it works, they're not really helping you. They're making you a slave. So, to be fair, because I want even those that are not going to participate in the psychic self defense, the blue sun of your emotional awareness resides in the West, psychic self defense. Even those that are not going to participate in the workshop, I still want you to at least have this fundamental understanding of what psychic self defense is. At the core of it, it's very simple. You do not want your three-dimensional breath awareness. Your three-dimensional breath awareness is the awareness that you're utilizing right now to listen to me. You do not want your three-dimensional breath awareness to get sucked into two-dimensional constructs. The equivalent of that is your spirit entering a computer. So let me say this again. If I had to say what is psychic self-defense, protecting your three-dimensional breath awareness. What is psychic self-defense? Protecting your three-dimensional breath awareness. What is psychic self-defense if I ask you? Protecting my three-dimensional breath awareness. You do not want your three-dimensional breath awareness to get sucked into two-dimensional constructs, the equivalent of your spirit entering a computer. So while you think you're lucid dreaming, and while you think you're traveling realms, and while you think you're meeting entities, you're not. You have left your three-dimensional breath awareness. Your three-dimensional breath awareness is the awareness that you have while you're awake under the sun, your conscious mind. You have left your three-dimensional breath awareness behind, and now you've plunged your mind into two-dimensional constructs, but you're not advancing. You're actually going deeper into the matrix. So that's what I want to teach. I want to speak about the two suns, the orange sun and the blue sun, and what is their utility in psychic self-defense, and the cardinal points and the four elements, because there is nothing that is not the four elements. So April 13th, the blue sun of your emotional awareness resides in the West. I hope to see a lot of you. Email me for all the information. First come, first serve, and that's gonna be my first workshop with more than a person. You know what I'm saying? Well, not my first workshop with more than one purpose, with one person. That's going to be the first time that I'm not doing a one-on-one consultation or one-on-one workshop, but where there's more than one person. So I hope to see a lot and a lot of you. So now, the video I wanted to make today was based on a great comment that somebody left on my channel. And the comment was, to my understanding, you said not to get initiated in anything as it blocks the connection to the ancestors aligned with your mission and opens paths of influence for other entities to push their agenda against your intended path. I'm curious to know if practicing rituals like the lower banishing ritual, the middle path ritual from the Golden Dawn would also inadvertently weaken your connection to the energies you're born with or strengthen them, or something entirely different. I thought that was an amazing question and that motivated me to actually make this video. My answer was, most orders, their seals, spirits, energies, and rituals are proprietary. They, the order, went to a source, got the raw product, and now are giving you a finished product. Because they are providing that to you, you're paying a premium whether you know it or not. You need to go to your own, you need to get your own connection to an energetic source and build your own finished product. The source of all is the four elements. Let me repeat this. The source of all is the four elements. You go to the elements yourself. You don't need no middleman or middlewoman. And if ever you were to need a middleman or a middlewoman, they're contained in your astrological birth chart, which means they are already part of you. That means you do not need anyone. So now, why do I say no to initiations? And if somebody's initiated, I'm not trying to disrespect anyone. I'm just talking from my perspective, my point of view. An initiation is completely useless for the reasons that follow. Your initiation is the 9 months you spent, the 9 months of existence in the darkness of the womb of your mother. That was your initiation. You disconnected yourself from your higher self, or you disconnected yourself from a higher perspective of yourself and a higher understanding of yourself to come through this experience. Who the fuck can initiate you better than your mother did? Second point is, when you go through that initiation, it gives you access to a life scroll called your astrological birth chart. So I get this. Oh, Kurt, you said try to find the energies that connect with you, but I'm not from Haiti, or I'm not from Japan, or I'm not from the United States, or I'm not from there. So how can I find the equivalent? Let me give you an example. In Haitian Vodou, what most people don't know is that the Buddha is the equivalent of Ogu, or one of the equivalencies. Meaning that, but most deities have a planetary energy. So one of the planets that connects to Ogu, I'm not going to tell you all the planets, I could tell you one, is Mercury. So if you feel like you have a connection to Ogu or Mercurial energy, all you have to do is say you do a ritual through the planet Mercury, and you ask your higher self, yourself obviously, yo, what is the name of the spirit that is the equivalent of the Buddha or of the Ogu for me, that comes from my own culture? And bam, your higher self will give you, I hate the fucking term higher self, but whatever. You guys understand that. Yourself will give you the name of the equivalent of Ogu, whether it's in Venus, Mars, etc. Listen, the planets are nothing but the cosmic aspects of the four elements. Everything goes back to the four elements. So now, this chart contains the blueprint to the perfect life that you're supposed to have based on the needs and the plan of your higher self. Before you went through the illusion of forgetfulness and of birth, and you spent 9 months in the darkness of the womb of your mother, you had a plan, you had a purpose. I'm going to draw this life for myself and I'm going to come here. So, who better to tell you what type of life you're supposed to be having than what is indicated, what was written in your life scroll by your own self? That's why this chart contains the blueprint to the perfect life that you're supposed to have based on the needs and the plan of your higher self. But when you initiate, what you're doing is that you're not only you're selling your energetic connection, you're selling your soul, because once you sell your potential, you are selling your soul. The moment you sell your potential or your ability to learn, grow, and master, you're owned. Somebody owns you. I'm a radical individualist. I believe in individuality. Even the family that I belong to, even the bloodline that I belong to, the forefathers before me and the foremothers before me, whatever they incurred on their own soul and whatever they put forth with their hands has nothing to do with me. But a lot of people don't know how to undo themselves of the responsibilities of their forefathers. I know how. So whatever the fuck you took when you did your Masonic initiation, when you did your Rosicrucian initiation, when you did your fucked up voodoo initiation, has nothing to do with me. Those entities cannot come to me or come in my presence. But most of us deal with the initiations of our forefathers and our foremothers. So the moment you sell your potential, so let's say, you know what, you're 15, 16, 17, 18, you're having a hard time with women. So what do you start doing? Either you pay for sex, which is like literally like selling your soul, or you try to use a shortcut. I'm going to join this organization. I'm going to pay to have a degree to be able to have certain passwords to learn how to speak with women. You've actually crippled the ability of your higher self who came here to have an experience to overcome something. The problem is we live in a society that is so feminized that the men want the satisfaction of the external eyes of others. They want the car, they want the jewelry, they want the title. The men no longer want the satisfaction of the internal eye. The only eye that matters as a man is your internal eye. You have to be satisfied with yourself, but you can only be satisfied with yourself when you overcame something. So it's not about winning. You got to stop that bullshit. Life is not about winning. Life is about not losing, because I guarantee you, physically or even spiritually, some people with great powers, they look like winners, but they've lost because they've lost the connection with their astrological birth chart. They've lost the connection with their so-called higher self. Why? They took the easy road. So instead of dealing with the 500 rejections that you were going to get because you don't have the ability to speak to women, you chose to take a shortcut, and now you sold your soul. And now whatever girl that loves you, whatever you're able to get from women, it will never be natural, because deep in the back of your mind, you know, I wasn't worth it. It doesn't come from me. She doesn't like me because of me. I don't have the ability to do that. No, it comes from money, or it comes from something that you went and you bought. Similarly, for your business. Oh, you don't have the patience to grow the business from 0 all the way to 50, all the way to 100. You go and say, hey, I could give you this connection with this spirit, blah, 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 blah. And you're making money, and you think you're the man, and you're spending your money. But guess what? In 5 years, 10 years, this spirit or this energy that's giving you those hundreds of thousands of dollars, it needs to eat. But you have no knowledge and you have no understanding. So what it does, first, it affects your health, and then it might affect the health of people around you. And people around you start dying. That's something that is common in Haiti. Why? Because you went and you chose the shortcut. You wanted the shiny objects to impress your friends, to impress the people around you, but you never had the spirit of wealth. But the seeds are contained in your astrological birth chart. You just have to water those seeds until they give you a tree, and where now you could eat from those fruits, and eventually you have the wealth. But the wealth comes from solid roots. The woman come from solid roots, the intelligence, the spiritual powers. Oh, how the fuck you ain't never did anything spiritual, but all of a sudden you see your friend and he's flying? Where'd you get that ability, friend? Oh, well, blah, blah, blah. Man, easy come, easy go. The goal as a man and as a woman also, you want to trigger this inner eye. You want inner satisfaction. It's no wonder that everyone who took the shortcut, the route of ease, has regrets and an unfillable hole within, or unfillable cavity within, that they tried to stuff with drugs, alcohol, food, sex, because they lost their wholeness, they lost their integrity, they lost their soul, they lost their ability to grow. The point of life is not to win, just don't lose. If you win but you lost, nigga, you lost. The point is to never lose. And the way you don't lose is you don't take the route of ease. Everything that I could tell you guys today, it's because I never took the route of ease. I don't want to know. I don't want to be initiated. Don't tell me the secrets. Fuck your secrets. Keep your secrets to yourself, because all the secrets are contained in my behavior day to day. All secrets are contained in my inner reflection, in my contemplation about my actions. Why did I do this? Why didn't I do this? Why am I acting like this? Why am I not acting like this? Everything you need to learn comes from the four elements. Now, what are what they call seals, magical orders, or saints? Very simply, the four elements are the mind of the dragon. I'm going to give you a number. It's a figurative number, but it's to explain to you a reality. The four elements equals the dragon mind. Once you're working with the four elements directly, you're working with a database that has a trillion connections, versus when you're working with a saint, or when you're working with a spirit that they give you in an order, you're working with a database that has 1 billion connection. 1 trillion connections versus 1 billion connections. You do the math. Why is that? Because you going in your birth chart, finding your Ogu or your Mercury or your Ganesha connects you to the database that has a trillion connections, versus the database that only has 1 billion. Why? On one side, you have water. On the other side, you have Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola contains water, yet Coca-Cola also contains a bunch of shit that is a intellectual property of the people who've made Coca-Cola. Meaning, whatever is contained in Coca-Cola that helps you connect with water can never help you connect with water at the highest degree of water, because it contains other stuff that is their own intellectual property. You will never advance joining a Masonic, magical, voodoo, I don't care what it is. The moment you're underneath somebody else, you will never advance. You're getting stepped down dope. You're not getting the pure shit. You connect with your astrological birth chart, with the energies contained in your astrological birth chart. You can connect directly with the four elements. The dragon's mind that has a trillion connections. Water is everywhere. Everywhere in the universe you could find water, not Coca-Cola. Everywhere in the universe you could find air, water, fire, and earth, not plastic, which would be the equivalent of the earth element, for example. So they're telling you, hey, come to my order. Yeah, but you gotta connect to water through the saint, which is the equivalent of Coca-Cola. Or you gotta connect to the earth, which is the equivalent of plastic. Yes, it's earth, but it's a stepped down version of earth that has no other connection to the other four elements. You're just putting yourself in a box. There's no reason for that. So that's why I say most orders, their seals, spirits, energies, and rituals are proprietary. Spirituality is business, because when they're giving you this connection and it works a bit, what do you think you're doing? Now you joined their family. Because you've joined their family, now they're going to your connection. But your natural connection is where there's a trillion connections. Now they take this connection, they connected this connection, and they could sell it. So now they're selling. You know how that's crazy, bro. They're giving you some bullshit. They're going to your source, and now they're selling this source because they think you're not worth having this connection. So now whoever is in the higher realms with them in their orders, now they're using your connection to Dambala, the high level, or Ogu, or Osiris, or whatever at a high level, and they're using it for them, and they're controlling you like that because you're taking stepped on dope. You're taking 30% when you could go to the forest and go to the coca leaf yourself. But all you have to do, people don't want. I was here the work, do the work. No. Listen, it's very simple. Life is the initiation. Your brother, your sister, your relationship with your mother, with your girlfriend, with your children, with your money, with your apartment, that is the initiation. Life is spirituality. Spirituality is life. Spirituality is business, and business is spirituality. So if you think about it, the person who has a successful business, but why do they have a successful business? Because they have a great product. They have the staff is great. The restaurant is great. Everything in that place is great. But what does that come from? It comes from planning. Planning is a spiritual skill. It comes from harmony. Harmony is a spiritual skill. It comes from dedication, hard work. All those things are spiritual. There's no difference between the spiritual and the physical. They mirror each other. So don't waste your time trying to acquire so-called spiritual power for physical things, when if you live your physical life the right way by harmonizing yourself with the elements within you, you will access and you will unlock your connection with the four elements. But you have to live your life in a proper way, in an harmonious way within, with integrity within, with respect within. Stop chasing the outer eye, chasing the external eye of others. And look what I got, look what I could do, I could fly, I could, in whatever context it is futile and useless. You have some work to do, but all the work you have to do, all the obstacles you have to do, is contained in your astrological birth chart. So that's why I say you go to your source, you find your connection, and you do it properly. They can't give you anything. No one can give you anything better than anything that is contained in your astrological birth chart. No one can give you anything better than your own self that's on the other side of those 9 months of forgetfulness within the womb of your mother. You put yourself in that game, you put yourself in that position. Now try to reconnect with that intelligence. And that's why the last point that I wanted to make was the ultimate way and the easiest way to incarnate that perfect power, intellect, and intelligence of your so-called higher self is to die while you are alive. The perfection of yourself, the perfection of the four elements, the spirit that purifies the elements instantly, is death. The shortcut to all powers is psychological death. Every spiritual endeavor is learning how to die. The end. So you want the secret? I'm going to go do this initiation, that initiation. Nothing is more powerful than the energy of death that comes from the north in the cardinal directions. You see this book by Jiddu Krishnamurti called The Awakening of Intelligence. One of the things that we don't understand is that a system or alchemy, all the symbols you see in a system, whether it's alchemy, whether it's voodoo, whether it's Taoism, he is one of the living embodiments of that perfection. So if you find the perfection or the formula of perfection within a system, now you read masters like Jiddu Krishnamurti, and you read the words and you read their concepts, and now you're able to connect their words with a concept, with an energetic concept. So now you could accelerate your development because you're not only saying now, oh, the observer, because for example, he says the observer is the observed, the observer is the observer, the observer is the observed, and the observed is the observer. But now, if you know how to manipulate that in an alchemical way, when you're doing your so-called magic, when you're doing your rituals, now you accelerate your development because you no longer are relying on two-dimensional constructs, which are words, but you can actually bring it practically in your life through the four elements, and you can manipulate those formulas. So we have to learn how to extract the proper, and we have to learn how to discern the symbols that are contained in speech. So that oh, they were talking about the philosophers, so the Philosopher's Stone, but based on what he's saying, that would be the Philosopher's Stone. So I would have to go get this. You know what I'm saying? That's how we have to do it. And that's how you accelerate your development. Because ultimately, what we're trying to do, me personally, every single day I'm trying to die psychologically. That's the goal. That's the goal. That accelerates all thirsts for power, for money, for all of that. You get all of that once you know how to die day by day. Once your goal is to die, because think about it. You're mad at your brother, you're mad at your sister, you're mad at your girlfriend, you're mad at your mother. Well, guess what? You only have a week to be with them. All of this air element that was underneath holding grudges. Now your water element, which is your emotions, like, oh fuck. So now all of that is burnt away by the fire of death. And now you have clarity. Fuck, what I've been doing, I've been wasting time. Was it really that bad what they did, or was I being petty, or was I being immature? So death accelerates knowledge, whether you know it or not. That's why death is the supreme spiritual energy, but it is a very hard energy to manipulate because although respect is higher than love, when it comes to the energy of death, you need to work. The energy of death and the energy of love really work together. So you need to have the purest form of the energy of love to manipulate the energy of death in the correct form. But so that's what it is. What did I say? So that's why I say, take your time. Stop listening to these damn videos about these extra. It could be, listen, it's entertaining. It's ultimately your initiation is life in the three-dimensional construct. Your three-dimensional life, your responsibilities, your family, your own development, your own plans, your own goals, your own expansion. That is the mission that your higher self is on. So the moment you sell your potential, you sold your soul. The moment you sell your hardship, you sold your soul. Do not let your hardship go. It's your treasure. Treasure it because you can overcome something. And when you overcome something, you graduate, you ascend to a different position within yourself, and you master you master a degree of the spirit of whatever it is that you overcame, whether it's money, whether it's love, whether it's information, whether it's intellect, whether it's your emotions. Take the hard road, but take the hard road only when it pertains to you. I believe in individuality. Be an individual. Don't be scared. And even if it takes me 4,000 years, I'm willing to do the 4,000 years because I will never let no man or no woman be above me in my journey, telling me what to do, what not to do. Never, ever. It's never going to happen. I believe in individuality too much. That's why anyone who gives you anything, let them explain to you the energetic source of the ritual. Anything that I tell you guys, I give you guys, I always explain it from A to Z. There's no secrets. There's no secrets. Either it's connected in the sun, it's connected there, but this is the reason, this is the reasoning. So never take anything for free if it doesn't come with the individual turning that intelligence, that information back on you and telling you you could do it naturally for yourself, and always have the instructions of why am I doing this? How does that pertain to the four elements? Anything they're giving you is a step down version of the four elements. So why wouldn't you want to master the four elements within yourself? Because once you master the four elements within yourself, your connection with the four elements outside of yourself drastically changes. It's almost like having good credit. They'll give you money and they'll give you loans at the bank when you have good credit. So once you have good internal credit, the nature feels it. That's why they cut down all the trees in Haiti, because the people had the connection with the trees. And the Catholic Church completely destroyed the forests in Haiti and the trees and the nature in Haiti, because the nature is a connection to the four elements. Once you connect with the four elements directly, you don't need their fucking little dumbass connections. You go to the source by yourself. So they know that if they destroy nature, destroy your appreciation and your respect for nature and the boundaries that nature shows you to have, they could sell you their dumbass little initiations. And I'm not disrespecting anyone. If you're initiated, that's on you. It has nothing to do with me. But I'm just saying, if somebody were to ask me, yo, should I get initiated? No, and no. Learn by yourself. There's no secret. Matter of fact, I've already told you in the Baron Samedi Osiris video, your school, or the school of a man is your woman. The entire tree of life is your woman. Knowledge is orgasmic. Knowledge is not in a book. Knowledge is orgasmic. Knowledge is orgasmic. Okay. The same way a woman comes is the same way you make knowledge come. So your woman becomes the embodiment of your relationship with nature. So the highest spheres within her that you could reach are the highest spheres within nature that you can reach. So we always hear about frequency, vibration, frequency, vibration. Frequency is the frequency at which the phallus enters the vagina, and the vibration is the clitoral sensations that eventually lead to the woman coming or having an orgasm. Why do you think that on the tree of life, Thoth is